I remember the first scene we did was at the cage where they're eating each other.
Wow.
Yeah. And they called us down to the set. Did I tell you this already?
No.
George was standing to the side. It was just gross. You know, these zombies are eating whatever they're eating. And I said to George, I remember he was like this over here. And I said to George, this is disgusting. And he looked at me and he grinned. He went, yeah. I know. So I didn't really see the humor in the script until we started to shoot, and went, oh, I see what's going on here, you know? And then that started to really surface in me. And that's why I love that, the humor.
I have one question. I have one question.
You gotta speak up, guy.
Okay. Oh,
like I said, I had one. When we had our first screening, major screening for this in New York, a woman came up to me after we were in the restaurant or something, and everybody was there after the after party at the screening. She's a writer for the New York Times, and she said, how's it feel to kill kids? Yeah. And then I had friends in my acting school. I had friends that I know, or people that just people I knew, you know. And they saw it and said, you were in that movie? My acting teacher told me, yeah, it's pretty good, but they'll never see they'll never see what a fine actor you are, truly, in this film. So it was kind of okay. Those were some of the questionable things, some of the things that didn't go so well. And then I was in picking up a guy at the Los Angeles airport when Scott and I were working for the same limousine company. And I'm in my suit and tie, and just been in LA for a little while, following behind Dawn of the Dead. And this guy screams my name, Ken Foree, Ken Foree, Ken Foree. And I'm looking, saying, who the hell is this calling my name, and where's it coming from? And this guy's running, he's coming, he's got a suit on, he said, I'm your greatest fan, I'm your greatest fan. He said, what are you doing here? And I said, what's your name? He said, my name's Bob Fosse.
Kidding.
Whoa.
And I said, well, I'm picking you up. He said, what? And so, you know, yeah, true story. So it's, besides some things like that, there have been, I've worked consistently, pretty much throughout my career, and a lot of times it's people are there in the crew, directors, producers, they're there just to have me there because they're fans. And they've now become, they saw when they were young kids, they saw it and they said, oh, Ken, we love you. We gotta have you. As a matter of fact, I'm doing one next week. I do a voiceover for the Halloween series. And one of the guys says, I'm one of your greatest fans. I grew up with you. We gotta have you. So it's kind of like supported me in so many ways. It's made it a lot easier. I find that I've got people who love me, presidents, sheiks, people of great power and influence, and I've met a lot of them, and I'm surprised by it, quite frankly, because I'm a Midwestern kid that probably don't, I don't think, I think everybody's the same, and you're hard work, you do your little thing, and don't take that kind of, you don't take those compliments, and you don't take that to heart. It's not what life really is about. But, being in this position as Ken Foree in Dawn of the Dead, as I told some people the other day, they named a planet after me on Star Trek recently. So, I mean, when these things happen to you, you have to, I guess, in some way, be that person. That person that people adore. And I love people who love me, so it's a great thing. I'm having a ball. You give the love, I feed off of it, I try to give it back as best I can. But basically, I'm from Indiana. I'm gonna get out there and plow and get $5 for a week and shut up. Keep moving. But but it's been that kind of life for me, and it's been pretty wonderful.
I just remember one story because of what you were saying. It was like, I don't think I ever told this story before, but when the movie first came out, it was in a Times Square theater around 47th and Broadway, and it had one of those mezzanines that you used to go up to. Yeah. So I would go like in the middle of the day sometimes and just sort of go and see what the audience was doing. And so I'm sitting up in the mezzanine and the audience was full. It was full of people. And it's sort of at the beginning of the film when the guys are like, they find out that she's pregnant and what are we gonna do with her? And she's a drag. And so the audience in front of me was like, lose the bitch. Leave her. Just kill the bitch. Let her go. And I'm going, and I'm listening to all of that, and I'm going, wait. She gets better. And they all turn around, and then they see me, and then they turn to the screen, and then they're back and forth. I think that was the most horrifying horror movie they ever saw.
That's wonderful, guys.
Yeah, but wait a minute, wait. Same thing happened to me. I went to the embassy on the 63rd, took up first. I went there a couple of nights. Snuck in behind and watching the audience. So I get that. That's kind of crazy.
I mean, nothing has been better than the audiences, and nothing has been better than the fans. I mean, we were the Museum of Modern Art. This was true. It was like 2 years ago when the 3D version came out. Yeah. And the Museum of Modern Art had a series. The entire summer series in New York was the horror series. And they opened, which is incredible, and they opened the series with Dawn of the Dead. And the lines of people was sold out. And the curator at the museum says, we're never going to see these people maybe again in the museum, but we're going to try to get them in. But George got them in, and they came to the screening. It was just incredible. You were there. It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Wow.
We've gotten a little long on time, but I want to start to tell a story, and then we're going to wrap it up. Okay, guys?
That's all right.
Oh, I just have an anecdote about George. There was a special event in Los Angeles at the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and George was invited to be the speaker on the state of horror in the film industry, and he was the speaker. That was the event, right? So, who walks down? My point is, you never know who it might be a horror fan. Who walks down the sidewalk? I'm smoking a cigarette with George. It's George Lucas walks down the sidewalk.
Wow.
And walks up to George and talks to him like he's a 17-year-old fan. I swear to God, I'm not making this up. He goes, George, man, this is so cool that you're here, you're doing this. And I was just watching this, I was going, this is beautiful. You know, it's like you just don't know. And the other thing I wanted to tell you is my grandmother wanted to see the movie. I told her no. You cannot come to this movie. She insisted. She was really tough. And so she came to this screening we had in the Upper West Side. And she sat next to me when they blew the guy's head off. She grabbed my arm and said, I'm leaving. I said, cool. I put her in a cab, and off she went, right? I said, I warned you. But she was proud of me, and I said, well, you're going to hate it, so I warned you. That was it.